I'm Joe Friday. We're gonna have a conversation with Chef Jeff Edwards today at Ration. Get to know more about him, what he's got going on next, and so many other cool things. You know what? Let's get into it. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I'm super excited. We've been meaning to do this for a while. Obviously, we're here now. We shot here last year and still didn't get things happen time. But
Yeah,
we're
we got
here
busy.
now.
Good problem to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're here now. So, I just want to go right into it, man. Where were you born?
I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Winnipeg.
Prairie boy.
Okay, so being a chef from Winnipeg is pretty interesting from what I know. I mean, I'm not Canadian, but I do know a little about Winnipeg. What does that do with your food, like your career? How does that impact you as a chef? Being from Winnipeg?
Yeah, actually quite interesting how that story starts over there was I've worked in the restaurant industry my entire life, but not really from the angle of being a chef. Winnipeg has a really, really great food scene once you tap into it, but growing up and not being so informed, we're surrounded by wheat and canola. So I didn't find there to be a lot of interesting cuisine growing up. So it wasn't really until I actually moved to Southern Ontario where things really started to take off. But going back now and seeing so much of the creative, so much more of the creative side to how Manitoba chefs are cooking, it's really kind of changed my perspective on how to use ingredients.
It's pretty cool. You know, It's interesting. I spent some time in Iceland and in Norway, and there's tons of ocean around Norway, but there's long winters. So there's a lot of curing. There's a lot of smoking, a lot of things that you wouldn't recognize because they use what they have, and I guess it's kind of like what Winnipeg would be.
For sure, yeah. So awesome that you said Iceland. Gimli, that's where my dad is. It is a massive Icelandic community out there. So we do a lot of fishing. We get really, really great pickerel all the way up until even like the end of November, early December. And that is definitely one of like the staple Manitoba ingredients, especially when it comes to, obviously we don't have any seas around us, but some fairly large lakes, and we do get a lot of really great fishing out there. So yeah, you know what, it is about like taking the finite amount of ingredients that we do have growing as like wild foods or even farmed out there, and you really have to be clever to make some really cool stuff, but those guys do it really well.
That's why I think some of the most ingenuity comes from places like that.
Yeah, born out of necessity, right?
Yeah. Okay, so all right. With that being said, what was your first, your earliest food experience that memory that you go back to even now in your career?
My dad used to travel a lot, or my parents used to travel a lot, and my mom cooked a little bit more than my father. So we ate a lot of salmon. She liked to use scallops and stuff like that every now and then. I hated seafood, but she really stressed it on me, and it really challenged me to open up to it, which is awesome. And then from when my father was left at home cooking for me, it was goulash. It was so stark contrast there, but really gives you like a full sense of the spectrum of food. That was really cool to see like how something so humble can be delicious and something so exquisite can also be delicious, and how do they line up, right? When they're so different. So I think that really was a big impetus for me wanting to get into cooking.
Cool. Yeah. As a chef professional now, what's your quote? What's your food philosophy? Like basically, it's pretty simple. How do you feel about food, and what makes you produce the food that you do here at Ration? Like your menu's been creative and extremely creative over time, and you're always on top of the game when it comes to different things. So there's definitely a distinct philosophy when it comes to your food.
Well, we definitely focus a lot on wild foods. Spend a lot of time in the summers foraging. We do work with Forsyth Family Farms in Uxbridge, so we grow a lot of our own stuff. I guess, short story long, we like to use things that are a little bit more unique and interesting, like not your everyday vegetables, not your everyday mushrooms, even if they are wild. We try and find things that people don't or might not have heard so much about. And then we kind of open the door for a little bit of an educational platform as well. And then, of course, we do focus a lot on zero waste. So we use fermentation as a vessel to mitigate food waste, taking any byproducts from the processing of these vegetables and meats for that matter, and making things like shoyus, garums, miso, stuff like that, in order to make sure that as little as possible hits the bin at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's cool. So I was here last year when Michelin star was coming out here in Toronto. It was really cool. It was a really exciting moment for a lot of people.
Big day for a lot of restaurants here.
Yeah. I'm not in the sit down restaurant scene anymore. But my career has always been like, maybe one day I can get there. I never thought that I would get there. I just want to keep putting my head down and work. But you were close. You were in the conversation of getting there, and that's, I mean, to me, if I was ever in the conversation of something like that, in the time of my life where I was focused on that type of food, I think I would have been extremely excited. What were the emotions?
Oh man, I can almost pinpoint the day. I was 16 years old, trying sushi for my first time, and again, going back to challenge myself to appreciate fish and seafood, and I wanted to open a restaurant. It was just like I was eating sushi, the environment was right. I was with some great company, and I was like, how can I do this forever? And my family were part Icelandic, part French, so Michelin wasn't something that was not out of conversation. Like I heard about it really, really young, and I was like, I want to get a star. Yeah. And not like we're going to push super, super hard and only focus on getting a star. For us, we want to make good food. We want to have a really, really great environment for our team, and work together to push towards that goal. Making sure that everybody's involved, and so getting an email from the Michelin Guide after they announced that they're coming from Toronto, and they were telling us that we'd been nominated for an award. That to me was that was a big moment.
Yeah.
Just being recognized from something that I had looked up to and just wanted to be a part of for so long was just a huge moment for me. And then, of course, we were all on the roof the day that the announcements were made, and we didn't get a star this year. It was our first year opening, which is totally fine. We did get on the recommended list, which was awesome. And you know what? That was for the team.
Yeah.
That was something that everybody worked so hard just to even get our names out there. And these guys pushed, and we ended up getting published in the Guide. And next year we're going after our star.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it was cool to be here because there's so many people here that maybe have a little relations to the restaurant, and it's just really cool for all the community to support.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the biggest things about food. Is food is a community, and I just love the energy of people coming together, supporting each other, as far as whether it's coming to eat at your restaurant because they know you produce great food, or just supporting your dreams and goals. So I thought it was really cool to have that kind of group of people.
It was awesome. Just how many people came out, even just to hang out and have a couple beers with us while we're watching the award ceremony and everything. And that was big for us. One of the key pillars of Ration was always to be part of the community.
Yeah.
Really give back and include everyone. You don't have to be part of the restaurant industry to hang with us, kind of thing. We want to give everybody a little bit more insight into this world. The positives, the negatives, everything. It's your diner is just as much as part of your restaurant as you are as an owner. So having some of our regulars come out to just be there on that night.
Yeah.
It was just really kind of reinforced everything that we've been doing here. So just such a great moment.
Yeah. So you're a big chef in sustainability.
Yes.
Which is absolutely amazing. I wish more chefs would be involved.
That's a big wave right now. A lot of people are getting on it. It's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Even I'm opening a burger restaurant, and it's not as much as I can make it sustainable. I'm making it a lot local.
That's good.
Making sure
it's not a fine dining movement.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it, and there's just even small changes, for any restaurant. It's it doesn't have to be, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's there. It's just up to all of us to just grab a piece of it.
Yeah. So let's segue into what you got going on next.
So on the conversation of sustainability, we have one of our chefs here, Jordan van den Odelaar, came on board with us to do a project called Scavenger. So Scavenger is going to take the idea of sustainability and ethical sourcing to the next step. where we are still going to be focused on Canadian foods. We're going to work with game meats, albeit farmed in Ontario. A lot of wild foods as well. Still focusing on preservation and fermentation as a vessel to mitigate food waste. But this one, we're going to actually be building the restaurant out of upcycled, scavenged materials.
Yeah.
We are going to be building vertical gardens and hydroponic gardens in our basement. We have about 800 square feet, and we're going to be building these gardens out of, tossed away water bottles. Yeah, so a lot of that. So we're going to try and use as much of that plastic waste to build the structures for the gardens, which is really cool. We have a great template for that. But our plan is to be able to grow about 60-65% of all produce we use year-round on site. What this means for sustainability is it kind of directs the conversation from just being about our impact on the environment, but treating ourselves like an environment and how the way we consume food impacts a sustainable lifestyle.
Yeah.
We want to be able to give people fresh strawberries, fresh asparagus in the middle of February, things like that, so we can have a full spectrum of nutrition all year round. And then it's also just going to kind of change, what seasonality means as well.
Yeah.
And then with these gardens, hydroponic, all organic, we're going to be using solar cells, solar energy to power them as well. So we're going to kind of take those off the grid. Just a big, every single aspect of the restaurant where we can start to be a little bit more conscious and thoughtful, we are definitely going to spare no expense in.
Man, that's pretty cool. I mean, it seems like you got a lot going on. Maybe another Michelin. That sounds pretty dope, man.
We're trying to get one restaurant started last year. Let's try to get two this year.
Yeah, you got the work ethic. That's for sure, man. That's for sure. So, a couple questions, super simple to wrap it up. Burger or pizza?
Oh, burger.
Burger.
100%.
France or Italy?
That's a good one. I have family in France. I've been there a lot. I've never been to Italy, so I'd have to say Italy.
Italy?
Yeah, I've done France.
Okay. Ramen or lau mein?
Ramen.
Ramen?
Yeah.
Okay. Sushi or burrito?
Sushi.
Okay.